The mysterious drones. I'm going to show you a drone later in this video getting taken out by a stick in Russia. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. We have an update on the drones. This time they're showing up on our southern border. This is reported by Governor Abbott in Texas. Let's watch this. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel.
There's been reports of the Mexican cartels authorizing the use of weaponized drones against Border Patrol agents, as well as these recent shootings on the border. Does law enforcement or the National Guard have plans to combat this?
Yeah, so before President Trump was elected for the second term, during the Biden administration, both Texas law enforcement and Texas National Guard have been fired upon across the border and had encountered drones across the border. And now with this clampdown, that exacerbates the situation with the cartels, and there's every expectation that they're going to elevate their level of activity, and especially with the advancements and capabilities of drones, both the United States and Texas and every border state needs to be prepared to defend themselves and maybe engage in responding as the case may be.
We're going to engage in respond in a drone warfare on the border. By the way, that is the big, what's called a mesh on the border that they're making. It's a virtual, it's not just a physical wall, but there's a virtual wall going up also that will be monitored by drones. So lots of drones on the southern border activity already announced. Now, this is a Russian drone. I'm going to turn that sound down because it has a high-pitched word. It took out that other drone with a stick. So for those of you that are afraid of drones, this is a Russian drone that took out a Ukrainian drone. It flies up to it here. I'm going to show you it again. Here comes the Ukrainian drone. It just puts a stick in its propeller and down it goes. That's big tech, guys. I'm kind of showing you this stuff because on one hand, it's scary, but on the other hand, drones are incredibly primitive. They're little helicopters is all, remote control helicopters. Okay, next up. This one's a little scarier. Okay, this is another big giant Chinese show of drones. So look at that sky. It is hundreds of thousands of drones. Now this video is slightly sped up just so they land a little fast, but you can see them all coming back down out of the sky in rows. Those are all drones that China are using. And they're coming back down and landing in a recharging rack. They're coming down on a grid, and each of those racks can be stacked and moved. But I mean, this is going to be at least temporarily the future of warfare. I'm going to show you some other weapons that are going to take these little drones down. Okay, this is Rod Martin's Twitter. I'm going to show you real quick. He's showing these energy weapons that have already been launched just this week and shot down a drone. So breaking the future of warfare isn't hypersonic missiles, it's lasers.
This newly released footage shows the Dragonfire laser-directed energy weapon system in action, and it could be in the hands of military personnel in 5 years' time. It destroys targets with an intense beam of light and has pinpoint accuracy. It's able to hit something the size of a £1 coin from a kilometre away.
So we've been talking about the cost of firing a laser weapon to be £10 a shot. And really all we're talking about is the cost of the energy that you need to fire the laser weapon.
Trump's Iron Dome for America is just the beginning. Meet Iron Beam. This is Operation Iron Beam. We're already working on this. I've got the inside scoop on what's really happening. The U.S. Navy just dropped an insane photo showing their new Helios laser weapon in action. So this is what we're using in our Navy. And it's one of the most effective protections against a drone, but that is shooting an energy beam.
Scientists say Dragonfire proved itself in testing in Scotland and has the potential to transform the UK's defence capability. It could be used on land or sea and would remove the reliance on high-cost ammunition.
Drones are a really good example of the kinds of targets that a laser weapon would be very effective against. And certainly in our demonstrations, drones are one of the targets that we've successfully engaged on a number of occasions at really useful ranges.
This isn't sci-fi anymore, folks. We're talking real Star Trek right here. This changes everything. Ever wonder why the U.S. has been slow to develop hypersonic missiles? while Russia and China dump billions into hypersonics, that is, missiles that go faster than the speed of sound, we're building weapons that can shoot them down at the speed of light. So what's faster, audience? You can tell me in the chat below. Which one's faster, light or sound? Russia's, China's super weapons, they're already obsolete. Let me break this down. 60 kilowatt high energy laser melts targets instantly, takes out drones, missiles, boats, zero ammunition needed, just electricity. Everything the world is about to change. Beam me up. Wait, there's a couple more on here. The most shocking part, 3 countries are developing this technology: Israel's Iron Beam, America's Helios, and the UK's Dragonfire. So the very front end of the West, that is all of our Western technology, is working on these things. You know, China and Russia got to feel real stupid. Hypersonics just became very slow. I'll make one more quick note of this is, you know, we cannot get the components to make those drones because so many of those components, I think it's like 3/4 of the parts are made in China. So we don't even have the ability to manufacture them here yet, but laser weapons, no problem.
Britain isn't alone in developing this technology. Militaries around the world see the advantage, like Israel, which has Iron Beam, designed to destroy short-range objects too close for the Iron Dome system.
We don't like to compare Dragonfire too specifically with what's being done in other countries because they have their own research programs which we're not privy to. But what I would note is that the Dragonfire technology that we've designed is UK bespoke technology, which is owned by us and can be used by us in support of generating laser weapons for our own platforms in future.
It's not just Russia and China. While the media obsesses over conventional weapons, we're building literal death rays, and the elite pundits have no clue what's going on. Bottom line is the next war won't be won with missiles. It'll be won with photons and energy weapons. America is way ahead of the game, and Donald Trump is about to deploy this nationwide, not just on ships or battlefields, to defend us. The nuclear era is over. Now we will be able to defend ourselves. We'll be able to take a nuclear bomb out of the sky before it hits us. And I've seen other tech this guy's not talking about, but this is something all the way back to Reagan doing Star Wars. I've seen mock-up models of these. They're satellites with like a giant ion beam that shoots down from space. These kind of a heat weapon. So you might have a hard time launching, you know, bombs or starting a fire in space. But you can shoot a light beam, energy beam down, and if it was a clear day through the clouds, and if we have them along our coast to defend against missiles coming in, but those satellites will be able to shoot a beam down on a turret or a missile silo while they're in Russia or in China. Imagine that, shooting one of these energy beams down, going straight into a silo and blowing up a nuke in their own country. That's the future, and that's our side thinking and our technology going to the next step. We already have hypersonic missiles. China and Russia are developing their hypersonic missiles. And now we're going to go with speed of light weaponry to take those hypersonic out of the sky before they even get a chance to launch. So what do you guys think? What I really like is how kind of low-tech drones are. You send thousands of those out after a coast, and we'll have these little Iron Beam Helios. Ours is Helios. Israel's already got one called Iron Beam. What do you guys think? This should make you feel at least a little bit less afraid that we are on the job, and within the next couple of years, you'll start seeing us show them off. This could make nuclear bombs obsolete because the bombs would never get here. I'm Doug in exile.